Hello and welcome to Countdown to Power with me, Graeme Pryce. A little while ago, I put out a video about the leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, or Dick Lice, as I like to call him. Now, generally, comments on my videos are positive, and while some stand out, everyone means a lot to me. I mean, it's amazing that people are even watching, let alone commenting. But the response to the Reform UK video was, well, it was a little bit different, to say the least. To be honest, I kind of want people who don't agree with me to comment, because I don't just want to talk to people who agree with me, do I? I'm not going to make any difference there. I have said, though, that if you want to insult me, I need you to make it funny. And if you want to disagree with me, then you're going to have evidence to back up the bullshit you've read in the Daily Mail or the Telegraph. Surprisingly enough, not a lot of people take me up on that. And there's been very few insults that have actually been intelligent or made me laugh since I started the channel, sadly. I thought I'd share a few from the Reform UK voters, though. They're a little bit special. Just after this. Just a quick interjection, won't take long, will only keep you in a moment. YouTube takes a lot more notice of videos that are getting comments, likes and new subscribers and being watched right the way through. So if you could do one of the first three things and maybe watch a little bit longer than you might have otherwise, it would really help the channel loads. And it cheers me up loads too. Double win. We'll start with some of the one-liners, but I don't mean clever, witty one-liners, no. I mean dickheads who just said one little thing and then ran away. Another reason not to vote Labour. The chip on the shoulder is very obvious, said one fella. To which I replied, what chip? Whose shoulder? What are you on about? No response there. Another one said, 30 seconds of this video was 100% convinced me to vote Reform UK. But if you'd watched more than 30 seconds of it, you might have understood what I was on about, learned something, and not made a complete tit of yourself in the comment section, mate. Dumbass. Another one tried to end an exchange with, the real reason you don't want to argue with people about Reform UK is because you'll lose every time. This was from a guy who'd commented loads and loads and made no sense at all in any of his textual outbursts. He seemed to think he was the gatekeeper for Reform UK, despite everything he said being utterly moronic and totally wrong. Having a conversation or a debate isn't about winning or losing. And he's backing Reform UK, so we better get used to losing. I bet he went to school on the short bus. And another brainwashed right-wing idiot said, it's Richard Tice, show some respect. Now, I'm not sure if he was saying I shouldn't take the piss out of his name or that I should just respect him because he's Richard Tice, but my answer to that was just, no. And then lastly, we have an absolute fucking specimen that said, so we'll have a old lefty scouser on here. Have you be to the job centre to sign on. Spaces all over the place, no punctuation. So we'll address the obvious first. This Reform UK supporter is so fucking stupid that they can't even write one full sentence in English, for a start. Next, I'm clearly not ashamed to be left-wing. I've started a whole channel about it, for fuck's sake. And is he offended by the fact that I've got a Liverpool accent? Is that supposed to be some sort of valid criticism? And nobody has had to sign on at the job centre for decades, you pointless pond-life prick. Get in the bin. I'm going to run through a few of the ones that were a little bit more detailed, but still dumb as fuck, or like flawed by some basic failure of understanding. Listen to this. I would rather cut off both my hands than vote for Labour or the Tories. That's primarily why I'm voting Reform UK. With any hope, it will break the stranglehold that the main parties have. If there are no Reform UK candidates in my area, I will vote independent. Of course it won't break the stranglehold. You live in a first past the post system, you fucking idiot. You're wasting your vote. Jesus. Then we have, this bloke should have gone to Specsavers. Vote against the woke and stop the boat in 2024. The Reform UK party representing the people of Britain, their fears and concerns, who also voted to leave Europe. Well, for a start, that doesn't make sense, and he's obviously a Brexit dickhead. And he spelled Specsavers wrong. I mean, fuck me, mate. It's all over the high street and all over the telly all the time. How could you spell Specsavers wrong? You get in the bin as well, dumbass. Finally, we have what's probably the most arrogant one that I got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll let anything through that makes some sort of point or insults me in a way that I at least find funny. I had the highest number of comments ever that I needed to approve on that video, but I only removed 2. One had talked about Jimmy Savile, and the other one had said something so disgusting I could only think that they had like mental health problems or something. One guy said this though: "Another thicko stating the obvious as if he's just had an original thought. Anyone starting a comment," I think he meant video, "with a series of insults will always follow up with thoughts worthy of a 9-year-old. 1,500 views and 130 likes says it all." Well, I thought I must have attracted the attention of a leading right-wing commentator there. I thought, this guy clearly has faith in what he believes and believes what he says. So I went to his channel to have a look at his revolutionary stance and see if we'll get on board with his principles. He's got 13 subscribers and 13 videos, which are all just captures of amateur bands on a shite phone. I'm not going to say his name, but his whole channel had less viewing hours than the one video of mine that he was commenting on. And that's the kind of dickhead that's voting for racism Reform UK. 13 subs. Right, well the point of this one was mostly just to take the piss out of the kind of oxygen-stealing dullards that would have just been the village idiot before the internet was invented. Now we have gatherings of village idiots and they call themselves a party or a movement. Bowel movement, more like. It looks like I'll be able to start channel memberships in a few weeks, and this is probably the type of video that I'd like to do for members and Patreons. If you think that sounds like a good idea, leave a comment down below. I did say that my main content would always be free of charge with no obligation except a few minutes of your time though, and I will stand by that obviously. That being said, there are links to Patreon, PayPal and the excellent Buy Me a Coffee site down below in the descriptions, as usual. As I've said, I can't see Reform UK taking many seats off Labour. I think they're more of a problem for the Tories. But judging by the calibre of their witty retorts, I don't think we need to worry about their supporters either. Those dumbasses certainly won't be holding up the hands of the clock on our countdown to power. What would you do if you saw Richard Tyson? Would you bite his ankles? I reckon he'd taste of racism and mothballs. He wouldn't taste like chicken. No, I'm sure he wouldn't.